All right, guys, alive in the Holy Ghost. This may be a little rough on this video, but there's some things that God has revealed to me that I need to share with you guys. First, I want to start out by saying if you don't need to know Jesus Christ, I'm going to lead you in prayer right now to ask Jesus Christ into your life. And all you need to do is just seek the Lord with all your heart and say, Lord Jesus Christ, please save me. Forgive me for my sin and my wrongs. Come and live in me and help me. Come be in my heart. Change who I am. Guide me and lead me. Save me, protect me. Whatever else you feel led to pray. We are in a real serious hour. And I know everybody knows about the earthquakes and stuff on the east or the west coast. The east coast is having them too, by the way. But there are... Okay, let's start here. This is going to be rough because of the way that they keep harassing me. Dang it. I have to keep doing it this way. They just keep messing with me constantly, you guys. Okay, alright, so in New Mexico, we typically know, most people would know there's 5 supervolcanoes on the west coast, or western portion of our country. So, New Mexico, we've got Valles Caldera. In Colorado, southern Colorado, we have La Garita. We have Island Park Caldera in Idaho. And we have Yellowstone in Wyoming. And then if you go over here in California, this region, we have Long Valley Caldera, which is also a supervolcano. Okay, so this has been well known for a long time, and there's been a lot of things put out about it. But what I'm going to reveal to you tonight is what God showed me. And that is that this is not 5 supervolcanoes. This is 1 supervolcano. And I'm showing you the aerial view so that you can see what God showed me, okay? I'm going to explain it as much as possible as long as they don't harass me through this. Okay, this is actually the core volcano right here. Now, it looks very old, and it is. It was probably, in my opinion, what destroyed the dinosaurs. This is the main caldera. Okay, and as you can see, whatever blew so hard that most of it's gone into the ocean, etc. And I'm going to show you, if we look back, you can see what it did to... Hang on, guys. It's so irritating to have to do it like this. You can see what it did to Canada. Blew it all to pieces. Okay. And most likely it was during times of Pangea. I don't know for sure. I haven't analyzed the rock or anything, but it blew bad, okay? So it could be why the continents were severed right there. I'm not certain, but it was a serious blow, and it is, hang on. As soon as I got on here, they started trying to mess with it, so hang on. I had it where I wanted it. They're such jerks, I swear to God. The problem is that you have people who have college degrees who want credit for everything. They can't acknowledge anybody that discovers anything. This was given to me by God, and they have done nothing but try to hinder the revelation of this so that they can pounce on it and do their little articles like they discovered it. Okay, and that's what I go through all the time. I'm not really sure who's behind it. I really don't care. It's just ridiculous. And I'm really angry tonight because I've gone through nothing but hell trying to share this with you. I mean, I can't even post something on Facebook without being blocked and hindered. Everybody else has freedom of speech in the whole damn world except for me. And it's because they're so proud. That's how proud they are, that they can't allow somebody who's not a college degreed person to reveal this. And that's exactly why God picked me, because they're freaking arrogant. They don't care about lives. They don't care about anything but their own credentials. And I've seen them do this before to me. They take something I've revealed and they block me from saying anything. And then they come out with their little articles like they discovered it. And I'm really sick and tired of it, frankly, because it's shallow and it's petty and it's just ridiculous. But anyway, I had the picture up you guys saw when I first started the video. There's a picture that normally comes up down here, but they don't want me to show it to you because they're jerks. So anyway, I'm just going to skip that part, and I do have pictures of it, so I'll share that in another video. You can see down here as this little river flow looking thing. This is where the lava flow was. That's how big the lava flow was from this volcano. Okay, that's a huge, huge area, okay? You're talking whole states, size of a whole states that flowed down into here. See the little guy's face? Like, hey, don't piss me off. I'm a volcano. But anyway, sorry, I had to throw that in. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to show you what we're looking at here. This area here, that's the Long Valley Caldera. They have actually, it's really hard to do this way, you guys. I'm so sorry. It's just so lame. But this is all I can do, and I probably won't even be able to upload the video knowing them. Anyway, Long Valley Caldera. Let me see here. Come here. It's in this region over here somewhere. Hang on. This is so freaking annoying. Okay, here's a crater. I think it might be here. I can't tell without having to search it, and I have the pictures on my other phone, but I tried to email the pictures or text them, or I tried to text them to myself. They blocked that, literally blocked my text to my own other phone so that I couldn't show you guys this stuff. Okay, but this is what they're calling Long Valley Caldera, this region. Where's Mammoth? It's all in this area though, okay? Now, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you what the real caldera is on this section of the volcano. This is not a separate volcano. This is all part of. This here was a caldera as well. This big long rift you see all the way down here. I don't know how many of you saw the Hawaii volcanoes. Darn it. Jesus. I'm sorry, you guys. This is just pisses me off so bad because this is a serious situation. I just want to be able to explain it to you without being messed with. And they put this kind of stuff on here. Can't find your way. It was working fine until I tried to do the video because they're jerks. They really are. They don't care if half the country dies. That's how big of jerks they are. Okay, so going back over here. Right here. Okay. Now, this area, you can see when you go to look at the topography, as you look, you can kind of scroll through here and you can see the various holes where stuff blew. Okay? Reno, right there, you can see it. And if you come in closer, you can really see the various fissures, the things that form the mountains, the blowholes. You can see all of this, and I'm sure there's probably different seasons when it's had eruptive behavior here. But this is just one section of a huge system, okay? So there's all kinds of cones all the way up California. There's all kinds of vents. There's all kinds of hot springs, you name it, okay? Those are all different areas affiliated with volcanoes. Now what I'm going to show you is what God showed me is this big girl. This big girl is waking up. Okay, and I checked some of the charts up here. It's shaking up there. We just had earthquakes up there in in British Columbia. So earthquakes are not just an earthquake, unless they're fracking, you know, that could be. But an earthquake is not just an earthquake. It's a precursor to volcanic activity. And the earthquake is, once there's a rupture in the crust of the earth, the earthquake is the magma and the steam and the powerful force, the explosion, methane, all of it, trying to find a way out, trying to get to the surface, okay? So what God showed me about this current incident we're going through, which has been going on for weeks, not just in California, but in all these states here. I have the charts, and I'm going to show you that in another video, just because I'm going to have to pull these up so archaically. It's just ridiculous. So I'm going to have to put it in several videos. But all these states are experiencing quake swarms, okay? As well as Wyoming, Idaho, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Montana. All of them. I didn't go any further east at this point. This is just the ones I checked. And every single one of them is having quake swarms of various natures. Some of them less than others. Okay. So I started praying about what is going on, of why we're having this California incident. And God showed me there is a rupture that has occurred in the crust of the earth somewhere in this region here. The heat is coming from which this is going to blow your mind, you guys. I've told people this before, nobody believes me. Everybody thinks that the Grand Canyon was created because of water as a river. But the Grand Canyon was not created by water. The Grand Canyon was the key volcanic activity in this section of the volcano. like there's volcanic fields. This whole thing is all connected, okay? But this is the main eruptive site, or one of them, from back then, okay? And this is probably not as old as that one up top, but I want you to see, as you go through here, all the different formations. You can literally see where things blew out. There's holes. There's this is Mount Trumbull, okay? And this is right where Grand Canyon is. See this? These are blowholes, okay? These are places where the magma and the methane and the explosive power, the pyroclastic eruptions came through the rock and literally blew rocks out, okay? Blew chunks. That's what created what we now know as the Grand Canyon. Which is, I've never heard anyone say that before, so I know they probably don't believe me, but that's what God showed me. And that should tell you how extremely powerful this system is capable of being, okay? If it can blow out a canyon like that. Not just Grand Canyon, but if you go over to southern Colorado, you will see that there are many, many, many canyons there. And this is all the same system, you guys. It freaked me out when God showed me this, because that just shows you how freaking crazy powerful this thing is. Okay? It doesn't always erupt in the same spot. It doesn't always effuse in the same spot. And much of it's been dormant until they started fracking and messing with the firmament that God created. God created a perfect symmetry in planetary polarity. Perfect polarity is what God did when he created the earth and the sun and the moon. But man decided they were going to experiment and dig, and they want to go to the core, and they want to do this, and they want to get samples. And what they did was, the firmament that God established to hold the magma in was breached because of their curiosity and their greed and their desire and quest for knowledge. So once that happened, it's created a lot of problems in our earth. And it's also affecting our polarity in other ways. And I'm not going to get into the planetary stuff tonight because it's too deep. But I'll do another video on that probably if God gives me a chance. I don't know. You can just see all these eruptive places, okay, and all the fissures and all the cracks and all the little blowholes and places where the rock blew out, and it's everywhere. I mean, this is very, very hard rock, you guys, that just blew out. And that's how much force is capable to come out of this volcano. Just in this one spot. This isn't even the big spot. This right here, no matter what it looks like to us up close, this is a little peanut compared to the main volcano. Look at the size difference. I mean, look at the lava stream that was present at some point. And there's also another one here, and I don't know if it was dual craters or what. I'm really not sure. Maybe the other half blew over there. I guess I don't know. Maybe it turned over there. I have no idea, but this is like a serious system, okay? And even though this would be considered extinct, there is no such thing in this hour as an extinct volcano, okay? Because it's all connected to the core and the magma. So once that's breached, everything's breached. That means all volcanoes all over the earth are going to be waking up. New ones are being created where the pressure is coming through. So, okay, that's the big revelation on this one. Well, the two things about about Arizona, and then also about this huge system being 1, not 5. Now, we can sit and mark stuff just like they did in Hawaii, fissure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and let's call it Long Valley. But they didn't know that this was one system, or they would have presented it that way. They've presented it as 5 supervolcanoes, which was the extent of their knowledge at that point. So it's good that they've done that, because now we have ways to classify each area. Yellowstone, for instance. So when we're talking about a volcano that's waking up, that's that big, okay, that's capable of blowing a whole top part of the continent apart and this part off. This is a big, powerful volcano, okay? And they've labeled like these different supervolcanoes down here, the ones they've I call a sublabel. They give them explosivity indexes, okay? For instance, La Garita is like a velocity of 8. That's the index they've given that one, which means it has it's one of the most extreme, powerful eruptions that can happen. That's just this part right here, just in La Garita, okay? Not counting the rest of this, okay? Now, I want you to think about Grand Canyon, which they don't call that. I mean, they call it Mount Trumbull or whatever. They've got little mounts and everything, but they don't call that a supervolcano in the Grand Canyon. But yet it is. And there's magma all through these areas, you guys. There's pressure all through here. So whatever rupture, I'm not going to speculate how the rupture happened for this area at this point in time. I'm just saying there's been a rupture, and I've been praying about it because of all the earthquakes going on. I was very troubled. I spent all night crying and praying, trying to figure out what the heck is going on over here. And my I don't know if I can do it in this video. I need to pull some other things up. But the next video is going to blow your mind when I show you what God showed me about what's going on. And actually, it's very scary. Not just for California, but for all of the western part of our country. It's scary. It's very scary what's going on. And I'm just going to give you a brief summation of it, but I have some charts later that I'll go over. Where this breach is, this rock is very dense, okay? And so what you have is a rupture coming up in this pressure area, right? I believe it's right in this area, is the rupture. So what you have is very hard, solidified rock that's solidified over all these years. And what's happening with this rupture, if you can picture like opening a 2-liter of pop, and there's all kinds of pressure, you take the lid off, and all of a sudden the pressure's coming out, until the pressure is relieved. Well, that's what's happening. And so there's a lot of pressure that's come out like a giant explosion underground. Now, basically, the way God explained it to me is we are having a volcanic eruption underground. It's not necessarily coming out of a cone, per se. It's an underground eruption because of the dense rock. So what's happening, if you can picture the Titanic, for instance, and the compartments in the Titanic in the hull, and when the water started coming in, it was chiseling away at the compartment. Once it busted one compartment, it filled in, and then it chiseled away at the next compartment. And that's what this rupture is doing. It's going from section to section, and it is chiseling. That's why you'll see, I'll show you on some of the charts when I get there. But basically what's happening is it is chiseling where it can to get through. And this is the place another rupture. Some of it, there's 2 ruptures God showed me. One is coming from this direction from Arizona, and one is coming up. And that's why we're having different directional things. And they're saying, hey, faults don't usually go in both directions. It's not a fault line, you guys. The fault line is basically an area that's weak, that's likely to break apart or have the volcanic material come up. That's what the fault line is. This is not a fault line, just a fault line unzipping. This is an underground volcanic eruption, okay? And I'm going to tell it to you the way God gave it to me because it's very serious. So we went to Searles Valley, and the reason you're seeing so many quake swarms right here over and over, okay? And I have the charts to prove this, so I'll show you that, and I'll go into detail when I pull them up. But basically what you're having is this eruption. You got 2 ways. It's coming up, and it's coming up. I mean, it's coming up from the south or southeast, and it's coming up from underground at the same time. So you're having a crazy explosivity going on. And so all that pressure is going like this. Where can I get out? Where can I get out? And it's hammering. It's hammering against the rock inside underneath the ground. Okay? And as it can get to certain places, I'll show you this on the charts as well. It's basically pushing its way through. Okay, I got in at 6 kilometers here. Where else can I get in at? Okay, I got in at 2 kilometers, and it's pushing its way until it overtakes that area. Okay? Then what it's doing, and this is so hard to know because we don't know the whole topography of the underground. We can see, they do have satellites that you can see through the ground, so they might have a better chance of figuring this out. But what's happening then is where there's a weak point, it's blasting through. Okay, so we went from Searles to Ridgecrest. So now it's still pushing in areas in Searle. It's trying to go in every direction. Okay, it's trying to get in every direction. Now it's in Ridgecrest. It's broken through here somehow, and it's trying to get in every direction. It's going to keep. This is how much pressure we have. It's just hammering away. Hammering away, okay? It's hit in Yokern, okay? It's broken through there. But not, I mean, you got to figure the height, the breadth, and the height. It has to work through all this deep rock. So it might be really deep here and really shallow here. But it's trying, it's so explosive and large, you guys. It's like a huge Bunsen burner underground, basically. Okay, it's pushed its way up here. So you're seeing it, what they're calling would be a fault unzipping is actually a rock ripping, underground ripping. And there's areas that are not as dense. So it's a little bit easier to get through. Okay, now it's going in this direction. It's going in that direction. Oh, and there are places I'll show you on the pictures I have and the charts I have that it's come to the surface, or very close to the surface. Little Lake, it's been there. Okay, so we're heading north now. So it's gone up. It's gone up. It's gone. Okay, we started here. This is where the rupture was. It has gone like this. Northeast, northeast. Okay, now here it's just on a northeast trajectory. Or northwest, sorry. Okay, Olancha. It started in Olancha today. So, boom, it's going to keep hammering there. If it gets through quick, it'll go to the next place. It's already been at Independence a few times, so somewhere it snuck through there. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you, there's other towns I'm going to show you too, where it's come through. Hang on, I got to keep it kind of... There's a lot of places it's come through. Okay, south. It's going south, west as well. And the thing is, because we don't know how much pressure is behind it or how long that pressure is going to last, we don't know how far this thing's going to go. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like when you open your 2-liter, at some point it's going to fizz out. You know it's going to be explosive, but it's going to fizz out at some point. You don't know how much of the pops can actually come out before it stops. Well, that's the same thing with this. It's almost impossible to tell that. Well, I'm sure the government probably has things they can do to tell how much is effusing out of there. But if, let's say, we've got planetary things going on as well. We have a really near pass-by tomorrow morning. It's the closest one this month. And I have a chart on that too, or a thing on that. But anyway, so that's going to be affecting our planetary stuff. So let's say there's so much that goes into it, you can't necessarily predict what's going to happen, because there could be one of these earthquakes out of the millions that have happened, or thousands. There could be one quake that just stops the whole thing. There could be one quake that exacerbates it. And that's the thing, is where we trust God and His sovereignty to make that happen. I will tell you that God showed me where it started going upwards, which I kind of showed you how it was heading northeast, or northwest, I mean. God showed me that that's really heavy rock there, okay? So the way that He did it, that one of those first earthquakes, and there was two before the 7.1, but they they deleted it. They blocked the information. But I do have the charts proving it. Anyway, they basically, what happened is when those two earthquakes happened, it made rock fall on a huge throat of this system that could have erupted. And had it erupted, it would have been horrifying. But God squashed it, basically, for lack of a better term. And so it's underneath trying to push its way out in every direction. Now, I don't have to tell you, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that when it gets over to this area, this ground is not as dense and this ground is not as thick. Some of it is, but depending on how shallow the stuff comes up, you know, what depths and everything, this is a very volatile situation for this valley, okay? And I don't know that there's not still to this day some kind of eruption going on under here that hasn't surfaced yet, because we have a serious system here, you guys. This is nothing to play with. They've done fracking and water hacking and all kinds of stupid things that have resulted in this. Literally. I mean, they've tapped in. I mean, you tapped into an explosive element of great proportion. So it's really troubling, to say the least. And it's put a lot of lives in danger because of their greed. And some of them probably did it on purpose. I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to go down here. I'm going to show you some of the other areas it's hit. Acton. The quake swarms have started there. Santa Clarita has had it. There's that one place. Might be up here a little bit. I might have to zoom in more because it's a small town. It was somewhere up here. It's called Santa Paula, I think, or something like that. But so you guys, this is actually reaching some of these other areas quicker than it's got to other places, and that's because it's going underground. There's some more too. Let's see. Interesting enough too. Well, I'll go back to that because I don't want to get distracted. Where in the heck is it? Hang on. I'm trying to find LA, you guys. I know it's closer to the coast, but I keep having directional issues here because I'm using two phones and it's weird getting used to. Okay, let's go back over here. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Santa Clarita we talked about. Valverde also just started this evening to have some stuff going on there. Quakes going there, to a couple quake swarms. They start out very small too. They start out like 1 point, and then they get bigger as it breaks through. And the reason they're small is because picture hitting running something into a hard surface. Well, it's not going to have much impact. Like if you're trying, okay, let's say you're trying to break through like concrete or something. The first couple bangs, you're not going to make much impact, right? So that's why the quakes are registering as 1 point such and such. Okay, and then as it, darn it, hang on, you guys, so irritating. As it increases, as it gets through, they increase because it's getting through. So I'm trying to adjust this on my other phone, you guys. No wonder why it wasn't moving. Okay, okay, so we're over here, Santa Clarita. Okay, now we're going to go down into this area. Here's Beverly Hills. Here's Inglewood, LA. There's a couple places actually in LA area that have had a couple of quake swarms because it's breaking through in that area. I'm trying to think which one it was, if I can see it up close. I have pictures of it I can show you when I get to that. But so we're dealing with a very populated area down here, and God only knows what's going to happen. I mean, this thing is shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. Now, I don't know if it's going to shake till it blows. I don't know if it's going to shake till everything falls down. We don't know what's going to happen, but this is a serious situation, you guys. I'm just telling you the way that God's showing it to me. It's a serious situation. Until it stops, I don't feel comfortable. Okay? And I wouldn't feel comfortable sitting and waiting to see what's going to happen, because it was very terrifying. The worst case scenario that I was shown is that, I mean, this thing can literally erupt. It's capable of erupting the whole length of California, or 2/3 of it. So it's no joke what's going on here. And it should be taken very seriously by people that live in California. This area has been breached already. And I'm going to call it breach because that's where, when it breaks through. Indio has had some quake swarms. And again, this is dense rock, so they're very small magnitude as they break through. There was somewhere south too, like, okay, the Salton Seas I showed you. There's Salton City. There was somewhere else over here. I have all the charts so I can show you as we go later. But, I mean, this is serious. This is going to affect Baja. In fact, Baja has been having quake swarms as well for a while. And a lot of them have been kind of cloaked and put in different ways. But, so it's not, it doesn't appear to be really going eastward. And it's, although it is going eastward up here. If I can get up here again. Okay. Here's Ridgecrest. Okay. Now, God showed me, because it's trying to explode in every direction, especially from this point. From this point. Because this is underground. Rupture. Okay. And this is separate from the magma chamber. Okay, you guys? This is coming up from the crust. And we do have a huge, I'll show you a picture of that too. We have a huge magma chambers that go all up and down the country. So it's very serious. And I don't know that those have been breached. So that should tell you, if those converge with what's coming up from the core, we're in freaking trouble. And I'm just being straight, okay? I don't want to scare anybody, but it's time to really think and pray and ask God for mercy. I mean, that's my recommendation. Okay, Goldfield. You see Goldfield right here? They've had some quake swarms there. Now, I want you to go back here. See? Okay, where's Searles? Right there. Okay, so it has gone northeast up to here. Now, I think there was other places up here too. I basically pinpointed separately each chart